religious chants which are going on the behind because of Ramayana in the neighborhood. So I hope you guys can clearly hear me.
Yes.
Um, okay, great. So, guys, today we are going to talk about presentation skills, and I'm going to let you understand a few important areas related to presentations. I believe in each one of us lives, presentation it stands of paramount importance, right? Whether it's presenting yourself in an interview, or for that matter, you are giving some sort of a small presentation, which is in your organization. How quickly can you maneuver through different storytelling ideas? What exactly are you going to do with the slides, the presentation of the slides, the nuances that you're supposed to deal when it comes to the slide presentation? Is everything going to give you a complete understanding and know-how of how the impact is going to be on the other person's mind? Because presentation is anything related to communication, but at the same point, making sure that the other person who's on the other side of the table is being impacted also, or rather has the influence of your presentation in his mind even after the presentation is performed. Or maybe you are totally intensifying the energy levels of the person to concentrate upon you during the presentation. So generally, we talk about different levels of presentation, different types of presentation. So we are going to take up only one of the presentations, and this will help you understand what exactly are the basic nuts and bolts rule today that we can incorporate in the presentation. There is a different level of presentation skill which we are definitely going to deal in the next times to come. So before we move forward, I would like to take a small question on each one of you about the presentation problems that you guys face, because I would like to focus my today's webinar completely on the idea of how can we help you with the problem areas that you are suggesting. So guys, do you mind sharing few of your problems, few of your opportunity areas with respect to presentation skill that you guys face? Anyone? And I'm noting or making a note of it so you guys can let me know any problem skills or problem areas that you face with presentations, right? Anyone? Ganesh, Vikasji, Ritu.
Yes. How can we improve our presentation?
Mhm.
Means
So Ganeshji,
what
a
is
little
the starting?
into detail. Hmm. Yeah, please go ahead.
How to start? Then how to engage with team and seniors,
Hmm.
and then how to close up our presentation.
Okay. Okay, got the point. So the start of the presentation, which is very important aspect. Okay, great. Anything else?
Actually, sir,
That's from myself.
actually, sir, at the time of the presentation, we could not select the format.
Um,
Which type of the format we can select for the best presentation? Kindly guide us.
Vikalji, I think you're logged in from two IDs. That's the reason you are getting the echo. So if you are, you can request you to log in from one ID. That'll be better. Yeah. So format of the presentations, right? Okay, good, good. Okay, fair enough. So see, format of the presentation is a very broader idea, but that's a very good question. We will also do some sessions around PowerPoint presentations and give you some insights about few of the tools like Shapes, Smart Arts, which you can utilize, and similar options which are available into different other online free tools like Prezi and Canva. So we will definitely cover all that, but then at the moment today, we are going to specifically look onto the art of presenting it, which is related to the speaking skills. So I will give you a small glimpse of how things can be managed, right? All right. Anybody else? Anything else?
I
Anyone?
said Ritu, uh, what
Yeah,
I
Ritu.
what I believe even when many a times we are aware of the content, we are aware of the materials, everything, but when we are
Mhm.
going to present something, the inner confidence or the inner fear always create an obstacle of not opening up. So that is what I think
Right,
uh, the 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 maximum chunk is there.
right. That I understand. Okay, fair enough. Uh, I got the point. So the fear factor. Okay, very good. Okay, okay. Anything else? Anyone before we start? There are a couple of new people who have also joined in. So if they want to, share anything with us, they can. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other aspect?
उसमें आप कुछ क्या होता है शॉर्ट किस क्या यूज करना चाहिए प्रेजेंटेशन इसमें प्रेजेंटेशन के शॉर्ट क्लिप्स को
So okay,
इसको
great. So guys, I'm starting my today's session, and we are going to start with basic presentation, and then we'll move into the detailing part of it. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. If at any given point in time you guys feel like you have any questions, I will ask after the completion of the slides. Okay. And you are then requested.
इसका साउंड ऑफ करके इसका साउंड
Sorry. Yes, Vikasji, there will be a small sound because it's a Ramayana which is going on behind, which is from a neighbor's place. So that is not a controllable factor. I'm really sorry.
सॉरी सर सॉरी
So
सॉरी
just, yeah, so just give me a moment. Chaliye, let's start. So today topic that we are going to take is communication and expectation setting, which is from both the sides, which is uh, peer to peer and client to employee in both the ends. So when we talk about peer to peer, we are referring to a situation where you are going to speak to your colleagues, your subordinates, your reporting managers, and your managers, of course. So, what is the kind of problems that generally within the organization people face with respect to expectation setting? Now, this is very crucial to understand that we are just doing a very simple presentation. So please focus on the storytelling that I'm going to take. And I will also start with the questions that you guys have faced. For example, one of the questions that I got to know is how to start, right? That's a very good idea. So guys, first thing that you have to ensure that there are three aspects that you have to take care of. The first one is your articulation. Articulation means the sentences that you are going to speak, the language signs that you are going to put into things, and how much attractive can you make it is going to determine that. Number two, number two is your sounds and pronunciation, which also means respective stresses at given points with respect to intonation. For example, I'm asking some attention, right? I can't be sitting like this and asking, okay, guys, let's present this. We are going to do this. This way, people would not be attracted, right? So you have to stress, you have to give right intonations and be full of energy. Remember, energy is always contagious, right? People will always like to react to your energy, respond to your energy, rather than just sitting, because that's the nature of energy. Number three is your body language skills, right? Your facial expression, your eye contact, your hand movement, all this show. So right now, as you are seeing me, I'm only available or I'm being seen till the waist, right? Or maybe till the neck. So quite possibly, people can easily see my hand movements, can see my eye contact, can also see my facial expression. So whatever is visible in the camera in the frame, we have to work accordingly and ensure that all these aspects are taken care well. So first thing is you have to make a small pitch. right? Initially, when you are starting to do a presentation, unfortunately, you are not that well versed in English. You have not done presentations before. So don't go impromptu. That means don't just get into the water. Rather, try to remember a few lines, or rather try to engage yourself into a few phrases which are sure for sure is going to give you that level of engagement or attract people to hear to you. For example, a few phrases could be, if somebody wants to write it down, you can write it down also. You could say, hello everyone, I am Anubhav Srivastav, and today on the Sunday morning, I'm going to talk about communication and expectation setting within the organization, which is within peer-to-peer, or if you are working in conjunction with various different organizations, functions, how are you going to deal with it? And of course, if you are dealing with clients, between client and you, how are you going to do communication and expectation setting? So I'm going to start with the presentation, and I would require each one of you to kindly look on the slides, consider what I'm trying to tell, and if you have any questions, any doubts, we can surely have a small discussion and take it forward. So are we all looking forward to start with the presentation, everyone? That's all. So a few lines like these, a few simple way of representing your presentation in the beginning is going to be, a kind of a platform that you set for your conversations to start. So better is that you focus on simple words and energy levels. Remember, the more you complicate things, uh, the same similar expectations people are going to build for the next slides. Okay. Now, uh, this problem area that we are referring to, I'm going to give you a very simple presentation. It's called strategy presentation, where we have images and captions. Images and captions. Now, the entire thing depends on how you guys explain things out and brings the real context of things in the eye of people. Okay. So just mark my words, and I will give you a few tacts and hints, or rather few ways to sort of attract people during the conversation. For example, so guys, I'm sure you work in a corporate environment, and you understand that many at times you are facing a lot of problems and expectation setting with your peers, with your groups, with your communities. So I'm going to give you today a very simple tool of how can you resolve or move into the right direction to solve this problem, right? So what is this problem? This problem's areas refer to different, functionary interaction, interdisciplinary approach of the organization. So let's understand this one by one. So maybe I can, talk about my organization because I'm working with NGR. What are the different problem areas that we face, right? So try and give some relative or relatable experiences to people rather than imposing simple jargon. Remember, nobody likes complexity. Everybody likes simplicity. So behave very simple during the presentations and give examples which people can relate. For example, so a lot of times, we are working in a startup, so there are so many ad hoc work that comes. So sometimes my trainer also says to me, "Sir, I am working 5 days or 6 days a week. You are again calling me on a Sunday." That's an ad hoc work. So this problem keeps popping up, right? Next is clarity of work. For example, I'm supposed to appear on a Sunday for a presentation. Can you guide me what exactly I have to do? Can you also give me an understanding how much I have to do and till what time it's going to continue? So a lot of people are not afraid of work, but clarity around things which are needed. Otherwise, what will happen is they might feel subdued that they are being exploited, right? And this is a common phenomenon which is seen in every organization because work is something which you know is always on the progressive side, right? Nobody is like looking for you to contain yourself with certain elements or of your activities, but also would like you to take on with responsibilities. But essentially, you need to have a complete clarity as to what are you going to work. Now, give relatable examples. For example, I gave an example where uh, the trainers are working on Sunday, so they might ask you, sir, how many days it will continue? What is happening? So if I'm giving some ad hoc work, I could very well make sure that this amount of work is given to them for a certain period of time, and there is some compensation which is also being granted to them, right? So that is what we have to explain, and we have to, you know, give them related examples. Next is deadline management. Sometimes we give some task to people, they are unable to furnish the task on the right time. This is a common area, right? Common problem, communication setting or expectation setting issues. People are less tech savvy, so you might give them or ask them to upload something on the tool. For example, we face a lot of issues in CRM, which is the customer relationship management tool, where we ask our sales representatives and people to upload the data to continue, having or giving more understanding of things related to the conversation that you had with your customers. Because only through CRM we are going to know what did you speak, how many times did you speak, what is happening. Unfortunately, there is no such conversation. And last part is people are very bad in communication. You know, they wanted to take an off, they will not inform. At least if you want to take an off, inform a day prior if you are not feeling well. Even if you are not feeling well on the same day, make sure you message us at the right time. Right? We are entering into something and then people are messaging, I'm not well today. I'm sure you know that you can't be unwell within seconds. You need to be unwell from a little longer time. Only then we can grant you leave, right? So these are basic problem areas that we face. Now we will go solutions to each one of them one by one. So if you see the first thing that I addressed, which is how to start the presentation. So two takeaways. I'll keep repeating so that you guys take the takeaways in your mind. First takeaway is simplicity. Do not complex the sentences because people are here to understand you, not going to promote you or give you marks for some sort of presentation that you are doing. It's a professional world. The better you are, the clearer you are, the more clarity of things you have, people appreciate more. Gone are the days when people appreciate information. So first thing, as I said, energy and simplicity. These two things are extremely necessary with the start, because in the start you are going to set up the same energy level on which you are going to work. Okay. So now as we are moving to the other slides, can I ask anyone if you have any questions, or should I move ahead because there are a little more people who have joined in? Vikas and Gayatri is also here. Paramveer is also here. Yes, team. Any questions? Any doubts? Can we move forward? Yeah, guys, can you move forward? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Deepak is also there. Sure. Okay, now we are going to move to the next set, which is solution or giving solution. So remember, when you are giving any strategy presentation, do not keep the things open. Close them, close the loop. So if I'm raising a problem, I have to at least raise a solution. If I'm explaining a issue, I need to at least give them some hints and traces as to how to resolve it. And it is considered good. It is considered positive in every aspect that you, whatever problem that you're bringing, you're also suggesting a solution to that. So I'm suggesting a solution to ad hoc work. Now, the ad hoc work is something which generally is unaccounted for. So before you start explaining this aspect, you have to understand the prospective perceptional understanding of both the parties. For example, an employee may face a lot of issues because this work is unaccounted for. That means nobody is going to frame their appraisals because of these works. Nobody is going to appreciate them for these works. And it is somehow not recorded in the system also. Because eventually what is happening is you are getting something which is related to your work, but unfortunately you are not going to be compensated in any form or manner, which is cash or kind, I repeat. Okay. So how you are going to manage this? This is what important. So at times, the people in ad hoc work I mean, they don't mind, provided that work is for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour a day, or maximum an hour a day. But if it is like taking a lot of time, because a lot of people don't find right solution to things. So first thing when you take up the ad hoc work is make sure that you are clear with the solution. If the solution tracing or you are unable to trace the solution, don't say yes to ad hoc work. Right? Second, always try and involve the team, right? Because for two reasons. One, your problem will solve easily because there are other minds who are working on things. And second is everybody should know that you're doing an extra work apart from what you have been promised. Because this is very, I mean, at most necessary within your managerial peer or within your uh, office peers. You bring this into their notice that there are ad hoc works that you are doing. And there is nothing wrong because at the same point in time, they should also understand that there is additional work which is coming to you. Third is at times person who takes up ad hoc work is getting more work, from everywhere because he doesn't say no. So more people give him to work. So it's your duty or it's your responsibility that as an organizational, member, you are supposed to give or rather at least speak up for the work distribution evenly so that nobody is, burdened with a lot of work. And of course, there are long working hours and frequent ad hoc works are a problem. We have already discussed that. So solution to this is that you have to stop long working hours. Make sure you shout out to your manager. You go to your manager, speak to your people around. And frequent ad hoc works is something which is you should avoid. If you do not avoid, then you might have your own set of KRAs not completed or not being completed on time. So again, just to summarize this entire discussion, solutions means you are trying to suggest your people or your stakeholder a possible reasons to mitigate or to sort of build good expectations around things with them so that next time if something which is imposed upon you, you at least have people's understanding to things rather than they impose things on you. So sometimes expectation setting can easily be made by suggesting solutions to them and voicing out and saying your problem areas. So we've already discussed the problem areas. Now the solution part of it. Now, this is very important, and as we've already discussed, a lot of times, clarity of work is very important around things. Now, if this is a slide, and I'm going to present it, the first thing is that if that is important, as a person who is presenting, I'm going to emphasize more around clarity of work. So how can I bring this to your kind attention or to other people is through explaining this with an example, right? So this is called guys storytelling. In the next presentations, which will be full of graphs, which will be full of infographics, I'll do better storytelling, but here I'll give you a small glimpse of storytelling. So I'm going to talk about today a simple example of how clarity can be, sought in everything and anything we do. And if clarity is not there, it might bring us a problem which is bigger than the work itself. So guys, today I'm going to discuss about a small story where I'll share my own experiences of how clarity did not, or rather clarity around things, if not taken into consideration, may evolve into a big problem. So it so happened that, in my organization, I was given a responsibility to carry on a project. And unfortunately, I was getting a repeated number of calls from the client and they wanted to install a simple call to action button on the website. And I repeatedly said them that right now we are into a testing mode or a testing phase, and the users are being directed to our website. So we don't want to, destroy the experience. So maybe we might not be able to do it right now. Maybe after some time, once the testing is performed with utmost sincerity. So he said, no, I want you guys to understand that this is important. This is not looking good. It is not looking interesting. So his own expectations, right, from the client. So fortunately, I had my team who was completely working on that. So I had the opportunity. If something goes wrong, they can quickly come into the picture and they can take things forward. But as I said, the client was adamant, and I did not have clarity as to what it can bring. But I was at least aware that it could bring something, and that's the reason I have set up the right expectation. And exactly what happened. The moment we install the call to action button, the website starting behaving weird. There were simple use cases where people were thrown out without being logged in. There were issues related to adding cart or maybe issues related to payments. All this popped up at once. Now immediately we saw ticket raising and there were so many complaints coming. Then I went and asked the client, sir, didn't I tell you that we have not tested? And since we have not tested, we are not supposed to do this. Now the client understood what I'm saying and where I'm coming from, and he was really apologetic. And he said, "Can you don't mind if can we revert this?" I said, "Sir, I'll ask for my team, but all I wanted to tell you is that this is the last time we are entertaining those ad hoc requests which are not being taken into consideration from our tech team before, because this is an impromptu way of doing things which might result into a lot of problems." And almost we had a revenue loss worth lakhs because it was a big client and people were trying to log in and sort of things. So finally, within an hour or so, we were able to remove that and quickly get things into order. But for an hour, the revenue loss was there. Uh, and as I said, I did not have clarity. So purposefully, I wrote an email to the client stating that, sir, you are requesting these changes. We are doing it, but this is what we have to say, that unfortunately we have not tested it. So anything might happen, which we are trying to control, but we might not be responsible for this. So good that I provided the clarity as a document and not just verbally saying it in front of people. Now you have to understand this, that when you are working in an organization, verbally whatever you are communicating does not hold any importance. So better you try and use this in your now. If you guys see, the way I told you in a story gets you a complete understanding of what is clarity, how to give clarity, and why it's clarity needed whenever you are doing a task. And if you use this way of storytelling, of sharing your own experiences with people, it works wonders. So the third takeaway is, at times when situations are complex, don't make it more complex by adding jargons and technical words. Rather, tell them a simple story. This will solve your problem. And then relate these specific elements from your story. For example, if I would have spoken to my project lead before using that call to action, I did not have clarity, but my project lead might have had clarity that yes, putting that simple call to action button might have had created a lot of problems. He would have simply rejected, no, I'm not going to do it. But since I executed it, so that is something which I did wrong. Second is, I would have also taken clarity from the client as to what is his end outcome. His end outcome was that somehow people should know that this particular offer or something is going on. It could have been presented through some banners or some other snippet instead of using some technical aspect which is call to action button. So all I'm saying is that clarity from the client could have even solved this problem. Second is, our way of doing things was very agile, where we were trying to actually do things. From a technical standpoint, that's also one of the methodology agile, which we generally use in software. But essentially, what I'm trying to tell you is that we should go by the books. We should go by the protocols. We should go by what the organizational, process engineering team or the process has been laid. If we go beyond that, then the situation cannot be uncontrollable sometimes, right? And as I said, we also have to see concurrent changes. That means one thing leading to another. For example, in this manner, what we understood is that there were so many problems that people were facing because of this particular issue, which we never expected. So concurrent changes were supposed to be taken care into consideration. Now I'll wait for 10 seconds for you to guys ask questions. Please ask questions if you have. Anybody questions? Yeah. Questions anyone? Paramveer, Deepak, Bhavani? No questions?
So one question from my side, Anurag. At times, what happen the moment you start giving the clarity or you try to have the clarity, there are certain people who will, take it to or maybe bring it to a mess kind of situation, right? And the people will start popping up, and then end of the day, it become a full mess. So rather than getting into the flow, and if in between or at the end of the project you are trying to give some clarity, people may think that you yourself are not clear and you are creating a confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Very right, Paramveer. You see, we call them game spoilers in our language. So those spoilers or those people are going to be there. You can't miss the opportunity of not having them, right? So this is called the mix of people. So it is everywhere, right? Every organization, every work that we do, these people are there. Now, what is the right way out? What is the right strategy to ensure that these people do not do? So, uh, fortunately and unfortunately, uh, see, there is I would say, a simple strategy to expose people with time. There, I completely understand that during that time, during that project, when you are having a discussion with them, you might not, engage with them. You might not discuss with them at that point in time. Right? But maybe if they are habitual of making things worse for you again and again, I think you could expose them, maybe in a good duration of time by documenting everything. So again, this is a very important aspect. I would like to do a small storytelling with it. So I had one of my managers who had the habit of, creating very small, creating fuss at the end. So for example, we were doing a small sales off-site meet in Manesar, and I was posted in Gurgaon. And while I was visiting Gurgaon, he did not tell me that we needed to have some props for a small uh, session, and those props were kept in the office. Right? So as usual, why if he did not tell me, how am I supposed to take it? Then I was new to the organization. Nobody told me the nature of this person. So what I did was, I waited for some time. I went there, and as soon he asked for the props, I said, "Sir, I did not know about it. Nobody told." And he thrashed me completely there, shouting at me, yelling at me. No, you're supposed to do this. How can you do this? This, that, this, that. I kept quiet because I did not know of this person before. And saying at that point in time anything would have been a little rude from my end. People might form perception. But I forgive him, but I did not forget the incident. Now, what did I do is, next time the offsite meet again happened after 3 months, and I was in charge. So again, I got everything. I mean, the uh, cabs ready, and they took all the props and everything. So now I have put everything, every minutest detail on the mail. Right? Again, same thing happened. There was a drum people who were supposed to come, so they had some additional requirements, and I kept that into my car. I knew that this is going to happen, but I did not tell him that I brought this. Same thing happened. Before 10 minutes, the show was supposed to start. He came shouting, "Where are the things?" I said, "Sir, I'm taking this mail. You have not said anything to me. If you would have made me notified, I would have brought it. Where is your common sense?" I said, "Sir, there is no common sense in getting things from the office because everything was put onto the mail. I'm sorry, but this time you are supposed to tell me everything. If you want, I can share all the mails with you." And I said it with my assertive tone, not aggressive tone. Remember, there's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Assertive means you will not disagree, but you will be sturdy. And I told him very clearly in front of 10 people, "I'm sorry, sir, but you did not tell me anything about it. If you have any information, any communication, please let me know." And during that time, he purposefully, I'm talking about 2009, 10. So he had BlackBerry. He took his BlackBerry out, read messages right in front of me. And he was like, he's now a CEO of a big company, but like, very irate guy. Like, it's like, he might kill me also, right? That irate. I kept calm. I said, okay, let me see till what time it was. He did not find anything. And after 10 minutes, I also, I called the runner boy and asked him to put the things accordingly. He saw that there and he did not say me anything thereafter. So, see, you can't be 100% efficient at the same point in time. But if you are really consistent by the virtue of putting everything into record, documenting everything, especially in corporate culture, you can bring the difference, right? So just to answer you, Paramveerji, I hope I answered through a small story. How did I bring this into the notion of people, and how did I solve this problem of this guy shouting at me again and again?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Next is uh, at times when it comes to deadline management, you know, we see, or I personally have seen that a lot of times people engage into issues related to their projects. They are unable to educate the client, but essentially, deadline is a myth. You cannot. It's a general notion. Try to understand from your childhood experience. You don't have to go anywhere to understand it. Just review and introspect your childhood experiences. As child, you have seen various times you might have had issue faced that when you are preparing for exams, whatever best you perform, whatever maybe in the most ideal situations you have not got up from the seat for 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever, still whatever that you have promised that you will be able to do within that deadline, a small portion might have had left. Right? What happens is this is the natural tendency of human being that they might not agree to the first deadline, and it has. I mean, it can definitely be cured if you are a what do I say? If you are a a person of commitment, a person who would go by his deeds, you can control that. There are people who have controlled that. Deadline for them means deadline. But for most human beings, this is a problem, right? So we sort of create a very simple tool for this. That whenever there is a deadline which is given by client to us, we don't give that deadline to the team. We give a deadline which is a little before than the deadline given by the client. So this is the solution that create a pseudo deadline. For example, if the deadline is 10th, make sure that by 5th everything is guys have been communicated. The 5th is the deadline, 5th is the deadline. Only then. Now, when we were talking about earlier days or corporates functioning in the era of 90s, 2000, they did not have the power of software with them. They did not have the power of project management with them. Now, with such power of project management tools, methodologies, researches, process engineering, Six Sigma, quality, all this have created a huge, huge, huge upsurge in the way things are being managed. So essentially, project management has now completely changed, and you could very well see that now nobody can beat about around the bush. Things are very clear. Whatever person has been assigned the task, if he is making any change, doing anything, can be easily notified to other people, and everything is in sync with people. So nobody can say, "Oh, I did not get the information. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened." No, right? Third point is the methodology, right? So methodology means, again, this is something which is a technical aspect, but a lot of you, if are not technical, I'll just tell you that you know there are simpler tools and techniques which have been utilized by a lot of people. So you don't go by your own methodologies. Try to research and see what all exists in the society already, because before you, a lot of people have already mastered the art. So remember, don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, just go by whatever has been told to you. Whatever happens with other people, quite possibly those situations are also going to happen. And fourth part is, as I said, communication should be very clear around the deadline. Whenever you are speaking, whenever you are discussing, make sure you communicate the importance of deadline, not the deadline, but the importance of deadline. So right now, if I'm saying that within 10 minutes this is going to be finished. So for if I say, okay guys, please see if you can be complete in 10 minutes, nobody's going to take this seriously. But if you say, team, please be clear, there is no extension. I repeat, no extension. We have to achieve this within 10 minutes. Is that clear to everyone? Now take a yes from them, which is reiteration and getting message from them. I mean, reiteration and reiterating what you were saying and asking them to repeat. So, team, did you get this? Is that clear? Like that. Now, last segment of the site, which is, a lot of people are, no, this is not the last, the second last. So a lot of people are actually problem, they are not good in communication, especially this happens with traditional organizations. If there are millennials or Gen Z, which we call it typically, they are pretty like tech savvy, but a lot of people are not, right? So if you send them some link, they will be like afraid, oh my God, how am I going to do that? If you send them the Google Sheets link and this link and make some changes, उनके हाथ पांव फूल जाएंगे. So, in that case, don't try to make them learn, because that's not a good thing. In a longer duration it is, but try and for such people who sort of don't see things, don't understand things, if whatever is the timeline, if it is extended for a few months or whatever is the deadline, make sure you keep communicating them again and again. Keep communicating them, because what happens is, at times in the first go they might not understand it, right? But if you keep communicating them, they will also feel the urgency and they will come back with the problems that they're facing. Unfortunately, you can't go to people one on one. So weekly communication means a simple emailer to every one of them, like that, and that you can mitigate the risk of them not understanding. Second is, of course, educating the person in the long run is a simple solution, because if you don't educate them, if you don't make them understand, unfortunately they are bound to make mistakes again and again, and this is not the solution but a solace, right? शांति आप कुछ समय के लिए दे देंगे उनको, but अगर solution चाहिए तो उनको educate करना होगा. Okay, so third is, again, you have to adopt the right methodology. You can't just be sitting on कि उनको educate करना है. There has to be some training module, some understanding of how things will be dealt in the times to come, and keep them aware about the fact that they have to learn. Keep them on their toes when it comes to learning. Okay? Next aspect is the description over communication. So when I talk about description over communication, at times the important different understanding of the software or any tool might not be clear to them, right? So better is to conduct a video, make a video, share it with them. If not, that is not possible. Better is to over describe a few things, a little communicate more. Description, sort of functions quite well. Now the last part, but I repeat, very, very supremely important, guys. And why is it supremely important? Now see the way I'm telling that, because I have always shared this, irrespective of whichever industry you belong to, irrespective of whichever work that you are doing, irrespective of whatever work you are doing, remember guys, communication is the key for your activities success within the organization. Right? Why is it? Because I've already told you a very simple story of what happened with me, right? Say suppose if I have not communicated that, if people would have not, I mean, I personally have not written those emails and ensured that is there anything else that I should take along during my conversation over the email with my manager, you think I would have been safe? He would have taken me for a ride and things would have been really ugly, But unfortunately, I was caught into a society, I mean, into an organization where only one person was there who was a little, on the other side of the behavioral skills. but majority of people were good, right? So personally, I also did not want to leave the organization, but I have to tackle this person on. So at times, communication works wonder for you if you do it, or you uh, sort of understand the sincerity of how to communicate. Right? So I have always, believed in the idea that people will change, but whatever they have written will not change. Remember, right? I'm talking to you right this, right? But whatever I've shared with you, if I don't say in writing, I might change tomorrow. Not because I'm trying to change, but there could be situations and compulsions, right, in my life which might change me. But if I've documented something, if I've written something, quite possibly it will not change on its own, right? So prefer documentation, prefer emails, prefer screen sharing, prefer recordings, record use cases, right? It's my habit. Always I share the screenshot over WhatsApp message because you never know what people have there in their mind. They are sitting with a notion, oh, this guy always does this. Better, had this been an era like 10 years before when we did not have messaging communication, I would have said, guys, let it go. We can't help it. But today you have the opportunity. You spoke to your subordinate and she refused to come. Now you want to share it with your team manager, sir, this is happening. He might say both these guys are, somehow linked with each other. He's trying to help her. So better is you always say, sir, I spoke to her. This is what is she saying. Simple. So I can send it to you. I is also sure that you have done the right part. So when you have the technology, when you have the solutions, when you have things, why to delay? Just send it across, right? And record the use cases, right? So with the virtue of technology and the mobile phone technology, of course, we are no more in the era where things are not recorded. Things can be recorded simply very well. And this is the entire perspective of how we could, manage things and we could ensure that things could be uh, shared with people at the same time, which is real time. Last but not the least is reiteration and confirmation. Okay, this is very, very, very important. I'm sure I'm using those very terms again and again, but remember, a lot of problems can be solved if you reiterate. Keep reiteration. Reiteration means not just repeating what you say. If the person is not understanding, you might change the way that you are communicating. So, for example, say suppose I have to send a mail to everyone to install a software on their laptop in the organization. Very simple. Or maybe something which I have to ask them to do on the job portal or on the internal portal of the organization. Now, there are two ways. One, I send an email and then I just forget about it. Second, I send an email, then I send a follow up email on what the responses were, and I see that if whatever I sent is not working well, people are not registering, people are not taking it, people are not executing it, then I'll reiterate by sending a small video. This is how you have to do. So don't communicate with one channel, one medium, one activity. Keep reiterating. Right? There are so many other options available. So reiteration and keep confirming. Sir, is this done? Is this done? Sometimes, it's like, you will be irritated. Oh, I'm confirming again and again. But, it's just if you habituate, trust me, at least all your expectation setting problems will resolve. Trust me on this. It's my own experience. People hate me. I'll confirm again. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? It's okay. Ask them 4 times, it's okay. But they will hate you more if that blunder happens. So better is you prevent that by confirming again. And this is a very, very good habit. I personally follow this. I ensure everyone whom I confirm, I ask him again and again. Till he explicitly says, please, yes, I told you yes, right? So a recent havoc can happen to you at a restaurant, right? When the waiter comes, if it does not repeat your order and he goes by that, if he's a newcomer, what is going to happen? He might have got you a non-veg instead of a veg, or maybe something that you have ordered you will not get. Then what will you say? You will say, oh my God, I told you, you are not listening clearly. If that person would have confirmed the order and said, sir, again, I would like to take your small attention. Kindly, I'm reconfirming the order. please listen carefully. Then all these problems could have resolved. So this is a very important aspect in communication. Do not at all function over it. So thank you everyone. This was a basic understanding of a small presentation and a way a storytelling is done. We call it strategy presentation where image captions. That's it. Next time we will engage into more comprehensive presentation, and that would require at least 1.5 hours. So we have just kept it 1 hour because last time we had a small discussion with the team and they told us that it's going to be an hour's time that we'll be interested into. So now I'm open to questions. I'm open to further deliberations. And if you have any doubts, any questions that you would like to ask, please ask. Anyone? Rituji, Monali, Mohan, Ganesh, Vikas, Paramveer ji?
Nothing, sir. I think we echo what you said. Fully in agreement. Makes sense that most of the times.
Yes, great.
Thank
So
you.
I think just a brief presentation and help you understand the power of energy, storytelling, and of course the different aspects related to communication. So I think we'll like to also take a small feedback form which will be shared here. So always utilize that form to let us know because it's something that we are going to do every Sunday. So please apprise us, please help us, please let us know what extra can we do because it really helps us to maneuver through and make things more beautiful for you, more efficient for you, right? So for example, if you think in the presentation skill we might have included this, that, let us know, we'll include that and come back to you in the next week. So I would request my colleague here, which is I think Aditya is there. Aditya, are you there?
Yes, bro, I'm sharing it right away. Just give me a minute.
Okay. So guys, we are sharing a small feedback form, right? And as I said, I will reiterate again and again. Please, guys, go ahead and fill this. Whatever feedback that you have, maybe one liner, it will help us. I believe we have devoted sometimes. We can only request you to do a small feedback. It will just take 10 seconds. Remember, only 10 seconds, and you will be there. So kindly send us those feedback. It is very, very valuable and important to us. Okay. So great, guys. Aditya is sending. Aditya, just send it on the chat box. And we will individually send it also to your guys to individual I think WhatsApp messages. I think he has shared the link right already. Okay. Great. So guys, we have completed on time, and thank you once again for joining us on this Sunday. It really means a lot to us, and I thank each one of you for your valuable time and experience. Look forward to see you on the next Sunday. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Vikas, actually, guys,
We can't hear you, Anubhav.
yeah, I'm saying I have some important work, everyone. So I might not be available at the moment. So we'll discuss this in the next one. And just send messages to people who have joined in. I hope you have written the names, right?
Yes.
Who called Bhavani, by the way?
See, Bhavani is not our student. She is from outside. She is a different.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I didn't call Bhavani, and Bash Mohan is messaging me that share the link for the orientation. So
Yeah.
what to do? Like he's asking for like 12:30, or he's ready.
Yeah, Anubhav, are you available at 12:30 or we need to push some other time?
I'll confirm in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So Pallavi, let her know that we'll confirm in 10 minutes.
All right. All right.
Chali, anything else, guys? Can we stop recording?
Sure.